here's the other issue with it to me, Mike, a little bit, and I think we're hitting on a lot of the main points. But so how are we going to police this now? This is another thing where we're going to watch games on a Sunday and go, well, this was a tush push, but this wasn't because he moved 3 inches to the left, and now he's on the left cheek of the left guard on his butt cheek, and that's not officially. And we're going to sit there and have, let's go to review to see if he actually did that.
Hang on.
And that's just, I'm sick. So we're going to take away the quarterback sneak from the game?
Hang on. No.
Yeah?
No.
Right.
But the alignment is going to be part of it. And I would think that's how you do it. Let's not even get there because I don't think this is going to go through. I think it's an interesting conversation.
I hear you, right.
And it does come off as sour grapes by the Packers.
Yeah.
The Packers should have gotten somebody else to co-sign this because the Packers are not one of the teams. Like the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Giants, the Packers.
Right.
Teams
it looks
that
good
regularly
the Bills did it, like you said.
Right.
It does
if
look
the
good
Bills
there.
would propose it,
right,
then that would be one thing. But Sean McDermott's on the competition committee. He's in a position where he can try to work it through. But first of all, the fact that the Packers proposed it suggests that the competition committee isn't inclined to.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to propose it as an outside team if the competition committee is going to do it. But we'll see if the committee passes it along with a recommendation. They either have their recommendation that they're on board with it, or hey, here's what a team proposes. Any team can propose anything they want. There's several of them every year. Every once in a while, one gets accepted. Usually, it's just a team making a point. And the Packers are making a point here. And it starts a conversation. And I think it's a useful conversation to have. I don't think it's going to be implemented. But then the question becomes, what is the rule? What do we do?
Yeah,
do we just say you
that's
can't line up
right.
behind, like you can't line in a certain way, you can't actually push, you can't push within the tackle box, it's okay to help a runner down the field if a guy's getting, and usually it's in the tackle box and in the line of scrimmage where things that aren't allowed out in open space are permitted. This would be in that mosh pit, you can't have the pushing and shoving. I don't know. It's going to require careful wording. We saw how long it took them to come up with the right wording on what a catch is. So it's going to be a challenge if they do decide to do something.
That's what worries me, too.
What is the rule?
Right.
How do we word it? How do we enforce it?
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I think we're just watching something right now that's kind of special. They've cracked the code on something because of how good their O-line is. And then let's not forget, we got definitely the strongest pair of legs at quarterback in all of football with Jalen Hurts and his 600-pound squats and all that. It's a deadly combination. And it's going to take a special team to stop that. But again, I don't think, or at least and I'm for player safety, and I know I'm maybe a little more old school than most, right, and some of that stuff, and I think it's maybe sometimes goes too far. But I don't see anything here that quite concerns me yet to start to go, man, every week we're seeing guys getting folded up or hurt on the tush push. They got to think something, right? We had that when we had hip drop, because hip drop, we were like, every week we were like, somebody's losing a leg, basically. Breaking a leg, breaking, ACL tear, whatever. We're not there yet. And that's where, yes, it does seem like sour grapes, and it's going to take a special team to stop this special team and what they do on this play. We saw the Bucks do it 2 years ago in the playoff game, remember? They have some big people. They started to shoot people low, if you remember that in the wild card game, right? They were one of the teams that slowed it down. We saw some teams slow it down to a degree this year. But, yeah, I don't think it would be fair to take away a team's one of the greatest things they do that they brought to the league. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years, and then on the heels of winning the Super Bowl and the tush push being part of it, go, yeah, we're going to take that away from you. You're just a little too good at it. I don't love the way that looks, and I don't think the league should love the way that looks.
If they do get rid of it, hopefully one of the reasons won't be, and this is something that Mike Pereira, the former NFL VP of officiating, who now is a rules analyst with Fox, articulated in the aftermath of the NFC Championship, that he was concerned there would be an assault on the tush push because of what the Commanders did, jumping offside deliberately, because that was an embarrassment. That was a debacle. Well, that doesn't mean you get rid of the play that prompted the defense in its desperation to stop it to break the rules intentionally and repeatedly.
Exactly right.
Because then they win.
Yes.
Hey, let's create chaos. Let's create so much chaos that they'll just abandon the thing that has prompted us to create chaos.
Right.
Chaos has been the operative word in other contexts lately, but let's just create so much chaos that they'll say, we have to get this game to the point where that play is not part of it.
Yeah.
I hope that's not a motivation.
No,
that's
it shouldn't
a bad
be.
motivation.
That should be like what they did in the game. It should be like a 3-strike rule. Like you do it twice, okay. Then you do it the third time, it's a touchdown. We don't have to run the play again. I mean, that it should be as simple as that, and that's how you scare teams away from it. But you're right. That shouldn't be a reason of why this rule gets changed again. I don't believe that.
It is hard to stop. It is hard to stop, and I don't think it's as hard to develop. I just don't think other teams have prioritized it. Because, again, Mekhi Becton is part of this historic offensive line, and anyone who wanted him could have signed him last year as a free agent.
That's where it gets the sour grapes to me a little bit, because we're in what do we always call the NFL? The copycat league. Right? And if everybody felt like they could do it.
The Giants
like
tried and injured 2 players on one play in 2023.
They would try to do it. They would do it. They would, and I understand you're right about, you don't get to practice it and perfect it that way, but the Eagles got to a point where they've obviously perfected it and found a way to, figure out some details and get it to the game to where then they could perfect it there. So that's, again, where I go back to, it just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem fair. And they are really good at it, and you're going to have to take some time as far as maybe getting some special defensive tackles and trying to figure out some other ways to maybe stop it or slow it down.
Depending upon how the afternoon unfolds from the timing standpoint and other requirements, we might have Nick Sirianni at the end of the table.
Sure.
And I think we can have a conversation. Now, I don't know how forthcoming he's going to be on how they've managed to perfect it, but just the whole thing about
I want to know what they really call it, right?
Yeah.
They don't let out what they call it.
Well, he's not going to tell us today unless you got some booze down there.
Maybe he's won a Super Bowl and he's a little drunk on, Super Bowl glory, and I'll finally, sneak it by him. We'll get it by him some way. But I don't know why they won't tell us.
What?
It's got to be a swear word or something.
I hadn't thought
There's
of this.
Maybe
it's F my life.
Improper,
maybe
right?
It's F my life.
Right. Yeah. That's what they do. F my life on 2. F my life on 2. Ready? Right?
Kristen, you happy we didn't say it that time? So, I was thinking earlier, like, these guys just won the Super Bowl 16 days ago.
I know, it's crazy.
Let them enjoy it. But on the other side, I just won the Super Bowl 16 days ago, baby.
Right. You
Here we are. Here we are.
Definitely.
It's still fresh.
Yes.
Everybody else can suck it.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's some of that. I mean, again, everybody's trying to climb that mountain, and the fact that when you're on the top of that mountain and you can go to the combine and the owners' meetings and be like, hey, we're the champs. Yeah, I mean, that's why you coach football. That's why you're a GM. There is that competitive juices in these guys, and we know Nick Sirianni got it. I mean, that's why I kind of love Nick Sirianni, because of his attitude and the way he acts, and I think the Eagles kind of have, implemented that or copied their coach that way and taken his personality. And I think that's why they're so effective. I think it's why they can stand up to the Chiefs, because they got a coach that's like chippy, and he's like, hey, screw you. We're coming for you. We don't care how many Super Bowls you've won. And it's kind of just gone throughout the rest of their football team. And that's what I like about the Eagles. It's what I like about this play. It's also another play that's just like, screw you. You know the play. Good luck stopping us. Let's see how it goes. And Nick Sirianni has brought that attitude to the Eagles that I do admire.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.